live right now. So YouTube, we are coming to you, both of us, but Facebook haven't got both of us yet. It's just connecting. It'll be there in a sec. Facebook haven't got. There we go. Right, that's great. I've muted that. That's great. So, Nina, thank you. Thank you so much for joining me. YouTube world, if you tuned in right now, I'm currently trying to also sort out the Facebook stream, but it's going to just be me on the Facebook stream. So, if you give me 2 seconds, Nadia, can you, in the meantime... sorry, it's Wadia, your surname. Oh, that was a brilliant start from me, wasn't it? What an idiot.
Happens all the time because of my surname.
I'm not surprised. Nina, could you please just tell everyone what your connection is with type 1 diabetes while I try and sort out the Facebook feed?
Okay, no worries. So my son got diagnosed with type 1 2.5 years ago. I can't believe it's been that quick, actually. All of a sudden, it seems very, very quick. Yeah, it's the first that I really heard of it, to be honest. I mean, of course, I knew of diabetes. I didn't know of the distinctions, between 1 and 2 and what was involved and how you get it. And type 1 seems so random, hugely random thing to happen to anybody in their life. So that was a bit of a shock to the system.
I can imagine it was. So Facebook world, if you are now watching me, I'm really sorry that you can only see me. If you go to my YouTube channel, now, you will see me and Nina. I messed up and I can't seem to get us both on Facebook, but I can get us both on YouTube. So if you want to see both of us, you'll be able to hear both of us. But if you want to see both of us, head over to YouTube right now. It's just Pricks Official. The link's on my Facebook page, so head over there. But in the meantime, Nina, we are live on YouTube and we have some people saying hi. Hi, Liz. So can you say hi to Liz for me, Nina?
Hi, Liz.
So, guys, I would love it if you could send us any questions you have whilst we're chatting. You can just say hi and we'll shout hi back to you. But at the moment, we have Geordie would like us to say hi, and we have, I'm just going to move my screen because it's not quite in the right place. Good evening from the borough. So Amanda and Geordie also say hi.
Hello, Amanda. Hello, Geordie.
Amanda lives near me. She's about 20 minutes up the road from me. So
amazing.
She's not far away. I presume you're based in London, are you, Nina?
Yes, I am. Yes, West London.
And so you are known for, everyone would say you were known for EastEnders, but you have done absolutely loads of stuff, haven't you?
Well, I'm very old and I've been doing this for over 30 years now.
Yeah.
I started in theatre. I did 7 years worth of theatre, which people don't know about because they knew me from TV. My first job was Goodness Gracious Me, which was this sort of BBC Two comedy show. And we loved that. That was great fun doing that. And then literally I did that. I did a bunch of sitcoms back to back. Then I went back to theatre, did the Vagina Monologues. And after that,
I didn't know you came along. Vagina Monologues. That is a great show.
Great show.
So I went to see that with my mum a lot of years ago at Darlington. Did we see it at the Civic or was it the Arts Centre? I've seen it twice. I saw it when the Arts Centre was open. And I think I saw it at the Civic Theatre as it was. It's now the Hippodrome. And that's the only time my mum didn't really swear. And it's the only time I've ever heard her say the C word.
Yeah. It's amazing, isn't it, when you get an entire audience chanting it back at you, to make sure that as women, we embrace the word. It's our word. So, and it certainly opened my eyes to a lot of things, that show. And it made me more comfortable with myself, I'll be honest.
I've just had an idea. I could switch the Facebook camera around so they could see my screen, couldn't I?
Okay.
And
that's a good idea.
See both of us. So I'm going to do that. But so your son, how old was your son? Did you say? Was he?
He was 10 when he was diagnosed.
10.
He's hang on, let me get this right. Yes, 10. And he's just turned 13. So yeah.
Oh, he's coming to those years.
Yes, he is. And oh my gosh, the combination of the blood sugars going up and down plus the hormones. I mean, I stand no chance.
Yeah. No, you don't. It's not an easy time for certain. Definitely not an easy time. Let me turn this camera around so you can see the mess in my room. Lovely. See, I've got this set up looking lovely, but if you look at the rest of the room, it's a mess. So I'm going to unplug my phone. Hopefully the battery doesn't die. I'm going to place you there. There you go. Facebook Live can now see us both.
So, hello, Facebook Live.
Sorry, I need to remember to look up here now because I'm not on that screen, am I? So hi from Suzanne. Hi from Peter. If you could just give him a little wave. Now, I read your JDRF article that tells us about your son's diagnosis. It came at, you were on holiday, weren't you?
That's right. Yes, we were in Thailand. We've been saving up for this holiday for a couple of years because it was a special holiday, and we were just kind of having a whale of a time doing all the usual stuff. Probably a few more activities than normal, to be honest. And I remember us doing this sort of zip line thing, this big zip wire between these mountains, which of course my kids are like, "Come on, Mom, you love it." I'm like screaming my head off. So, you know, my son was perfectly active and just sort of whatever. And then the last couple of days of the holiday is when I started to notice that, you know, he was eating about 5 times his body weight, but still staying, like, he was very skinny anyway, but he was eating so much more than he does, and drinking loads and loads and loads of water. Like it was insatiable. Like he just couldn't get enough. But we kept thinking, well, you know, it's hot. It's 40 degrees. Yeah. It's like today out here. It's just, you know, think he's just thirsty. But he was the only one out of the 4 of us that was getting up at night to go to the toilet. Yeah. So I thought, oh, okay, so that doesn't feel right to me as a mum. It doesn't feel right. So anyway, about 3-4 days go by, and then we're getting on a flight to come back home, and he has a turn on the plane. You know, he literally almost passes out. His eyes roll into the back of his head, and in hindsight, I realized he was having you know, an attack. I can never say this word. A ketoacidosis attack. There you go. Yeah. And the worst thing happened where people going, "Oh no, he's probably hyperglycemic, you know, give him some orange juice." And it was the worst thing in the world to do. Yeah. But had I known that these were the symptoms for type 1, you know, of course, that's the last thing we would have done. And then we got him home. He sort of recovered a bit. He drank loads of water again. The next morning, he seemed to be sort of okay. I had work straight away when I landed back home, and I was away for 5 days. And when I came back from those 5 days, and my husband said to me, "He's been eating like you would not believe. He's drinking like you would not believe. He's complaining about waking up at night to pee." And then I looked at him and I thought, he looks even thinner. Just all of a sudden, in 5 days, he looked even thinner than he did before. And I thought, how can you eat that much and still look like even thinner than he did before? That was it. I just went, right, let's pack him up. We're just going to take him to hospital. That's it. Something's not right. In my gut, it feels something's not right. Because when we'd done this prior, when he'd had a virus the November before, like literally that was 10 months before he was diagnosed, he'd had a viral attack that left him throwing up for 3 months. And there was a consultant who said to us that there's a possibility that actually that virus sort of induced the, you know, kind of type 1 to come out sooner than it would have in him. Yeah. And they kept saying to us, it's a virus, it's a virus. Every time he threw up, it was a virus. And this time I said, I'm not accepting it's a virus. Something's wrong with my son. Please, can you figure it out? And one prick of the finger, and they say, did you not know he's type 1? And I said, type 1 what? Because I just, it's not, if you're not aware of type 1 diabetes or know about it or have people around you who have it, it's not something that's, it's not like saying he's got the flu. You just go type 1 what? What are you talking about? Yeah. And that's when they explained
the average response for most people, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. Absolutely. Absolutely.
People don't know about it. So we've got some comments coming in. Let me just go over to YouTube quickly. So Liz was asking how old your son was, but obviously we've answered that. And she's been diabetic 39 years.
Wow.
She was 8 years old at the time. Right. Daniel says hi. Hi, Daniel.
Hello, Daniel.
Geordie used to love Goodness Gracious Me.
Oh, brilliant. I'm so glad.
Teenagers are hard, but I couldn't imagine being a type 1 mum so strong. And she was also on holiday with a friend when she was diagnosed at 11, and her levels were in the 30s. And I feel, sorry, I can't quite see.
Oh, yeah, I think my son's was 49 or 52, wow. Something. It was ridiculous.
I don't know what mine was at all. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Luckily my mum had recently read an article about it, so she picked up on the symptoms straight away.
Yeah.
So we've got some people saying hi. Say hi to Nay. Hi, Nay.
Hello, May.
Hi, Juliet.
Hello.
Oh, hey, Kay. Kay, so such a similar diagnosis story with the nighttime bedwetting.
Yeah.
So, I think Kay has a child. I think I've met Kay before. I think she has a child that's type 1. So yeah, I was weeing loads, but to be honest, I wet the bed for years.
Oh, did he? No, he wasn't wetting the bed. He was getting up to go to the loo, but it was just still, like it was uncomfortable, because why would a child get up to go to the loo in the middle of the night? That's what an 80-year-old man does, I think, in my head anyway. So you just go, well, what's going on? And as a mum, I wish, my mum had always said to me, when something doesn't feel right, just in your gut, just as a woman, if something doesn't feel right, it's not right, go and sort it out. And I wish I'd listened a bit more.
You absolutely did. So have you got a drink, Nina?
I do.
I've gone with, well, what have you got?
I've got mojito. Nice. Couldn't resist.
But obviously they usually put lots of sugar syrup in it. So if I go out, I just ask for it without the sugar, because I love rum.
Yeah.
So I usually get it without the sugar and loads of lime. But so we're having a drink because it's been boiling hot today. My blood sugars have been all over the place today. I
can imagine.
I don't know if it's probably the heat mixed with like emotions and stuff, because as everyone probably knows who's tuned in, I've said this today would have been my mum's birthday.
Yes.
And my mum was one of the most special people in my life, because because she's my mum, obviously, but I think mainly because of that type 1 kind of bond. She wasn't type 1, but what I mean is she would bring me round. She would bring me around from bad hypos. And she kept me alive. And I met with some parents, and in fact, I think Suzanne is one of the parents that's joined in tonight. I think she said hi before. I'm sure she's joined in. And I met with a group, type 1 kids, which is a group in the Northeast, and I did a parents' workshop when I was writing Pricks. And it was then that it really, even though most of Pricks was written at that point, and a lot of it was written about my mum and my family, it wasn't till I kind of met with them that it kind of really clicked with me, actually. And I think it might have even been, it could have been Suzanne's husband who said this to me. Someone said in that workshop, it's a grieving process. It's a period of grief when your child's diagnosed. And I'd never really thought about how it affected my mum and dad, because I was so self-absorbed in the type 1. I was like, well, it's only me that's got it. It's only me. Of course, it's not only me it affects. It really does affect the parents as well. Did you find it a difficult time? Would you describe it as a grieving process?
Entirely. One of the things that I'm fighting for, I'm doing as much work as I can with JDRF and with Diabetes UK. And one of the things I'm insisting on is that there is either psychology or psychiatric help, because the one thing that they don't take into account is the child who gets diagnosed, they're grieving the loss of their life as they knew it. They have to live a new life, but so are we. So's the mum, so's the dad, so's, my daughter, his sister. Everyone feels a kind of fear of what happens now, because it's not your everyday, we're just getting on with our lives. Now it's every day getting on with your life. Oh, has he done this? Oh, has he done that? So there's a lot to do, and there's a lot of anger there. There's a lot of frustration and anger, and the person that the anger is taken out on is the mum 9 times out of 10, because you have nowhere else for that to go. And I don't blame him. I don't blame any kid who has that level of whatever frustration. We as adults, when we fall ill, how miserable we can be. And then I think it doesn't hit the child for a while that this is not going away. This is for the rest of your life. And it's that moment when that happens that there's a massive blowout. And I've heard similar stories with other mums and other parents, and they're all saying, there's a moment of realization that the child has, that this is for life. This is a lifetime thing. And then there's this massive kind of just explosion of upset and anger and this, and they take it out on the people closest to them because they feel safe to do that.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, that makes sense. Because you do that with the people you're most comfortable with.
Yeah.
We adopted our kids, we adopted our girls, and I find that a lot. Obviously they have some difficulties, and it's taken out on me. Because I'm with them all the time, or Jen, it's taken out. It used to always be me. Sometimes I'm trying to, like, what I try and do now is I try and walk away from it and ignore it, so then James gets the brunt of it.
Do you know what? You can go, I've tried every technique. I've tried the fighting back, I've tried the being quiet, I've tried the ignoring, I've tried everything in the world, but at the end of the day, until he comes out of his teenage years, I'm screwed, basically. So.
You are. Sorry, you are.
You really
will be appreciated so much later in life when he realizes all you've done for him.
I bloody hope he does, because right now I'm enemy number one. If I happen to go, what's your number? Oh my word, I should not have said that. That's it.
I remember crying in workshops with parents, mainly at Type 1 kids, actually. It was the only place I did them with parents, I think. And that was me just getting emotional. My mum wasn't even ill at that, like, didn't know my mum was ill. There was nothing wrong, but I was just getting emotional because when you think back as a Type 1, as an adult, when you think back to how much your parents did for you, it is really, like, it's really emotional. And he will have the utmost respect for you.
Oh, that's nice to hear. And I wish I could have met your mum. She sounds lovely.
Oh,
and I'm sure she's absolutely looking down on you and just sending you lots of hugs and kisses right now.
Thank you. We've got a message from Amanda here. So basically, I said to Sean, who I work with, Sean's lovely, and I said to him, if we start getting loads and loads of questions, can you filter them and send them to me? And I've seen that he sent me this one from Amanda that says, could you smell the ketones on his breath before he was diagnosed? My blood is 21 at the moment.
Oh gosh, I didn't know. I didn't actually, mind you. No, there was just so much. No, I don't remember doing that. Is that a thing? Is that an actual thing?
Apparently, but my mum said she didn't remember smelling them on my breath.
No, I didn't know that was a thing.
They smell like pear drops.
Oh wow.
Yeah, apparently pear drops is what they smell like.
Mind you, I wouldn't know what a pear drop smell like anyway. I've never had one.
Carrie has just put a lovely comment on Carrie Hilton. She said, one of the most positive things about being part of the Type 1 community has been meeting with all of the parents that just get it, completely agree with the grieving process.
You know, that's so true. That is so true. I have to say, there's this thing that happens when you are suddenly in a world that you don't know. And I've never come across a community where if you say something as simple as, oh, I wish there was something I could do about, just him getting angry, what do I do? It's like everyone can give you a bit of advice as to what you can try, or you can, how you can go to this person, they will help you. Or, if you're having trouble with the pump, what do I do? Oh, go onto Facebook and go to this group of people. And people are so helpful, and they take so much time out of their day. And within, this diagnosis, I've been introduced to new parents who, are local. And I've just picked up the phone and gone, you're right. And 9 times out of 10, the first meeting I have with the mums, we just cry. That literally they just need to just let go of this. I remember I'd said to someone in an interview once, they said, so, how did you handle the diagnosis? And I said, well, I'll give you the difference between my son and myself. So my son, this is in the very early days, not quite knowing what's going on, but knowing that he has to inject himself before eating. His friend finally comes over to say hi to him. And this was the conversation. So my son's Aiden and his friend was Adam. Adam walks in the door and he says to Aiden, so your mum told my mum you're not well. And Aiden goes, nah, it's okay. Because, oh, what's wrong? Just have to inject myself before I eat anything, that's all. He goes, oh, okay. Want to play Xbox? Yeah, cool. That was the conversation, right? Conversation with me and another mum. What's wrong? I can't handle it. And just like 3 hours of just, I can't do this. This is really hard. This is really frustrating. And I pray that no other parent has to go through this, because it is just, it's an evil little thing, and I want to get rid of it. And that's why every bit of my, whenever I go out to raise money, it's like, I am determined that there's going to be a cure in his lifetime. I'm absolutely determined. And so my aim is just to raise so much money that we can just throw it at the researchers and say, right, pull your finger out. What's the cure? Hurry up. That's what I'm doing. That's my way of coping and dealing with it.
I most look forward to, I like to set reasonable targets. So I most look forward to the moment they tell me my Omnipod and my Dexcom will talk to each other and loop.
Yes. See, I can't stop there. I can't stop. I'm so I have to move on. I mean, believe me, I love the technology. If we didn't have the Dexcom is a new thing for us, and it's been amazing. And Omnipod's incredible.
What's Aiden on then? What's he using?
So he's on the Omnipod pump.
Oh, so it's the same thing.
Yeah. Omnipod talking to Dexcom G6. That's the combination that he has. And if he didn't have the tech, I don't know if he'd be coping this well. It's the tech, because boys, at least in his case, he loves technology. So, now his drive in life is to kind of create something else that makes it work even better and even faster. He's constantly reading stuff about this. Like, there's this thing he read in America of this company that has sort of, I don't know what they've done to this combination, but they've figured out a way that you don't have to check. Like, you can go through a whole week without checking. You just eat what you want, and everything just does it by itself. You don't even have to look at your numbers. And I'm thinking, whoa, that's so cool.
I would pay for that. I don't care what it costs.
Yeah, I know, it's easy. And I want that to be available to everyone. I had such rows when first, they were saying that the Libra is available on the NHS. And I remember going, okay, can we have it? And they're like, well, your postcode doesn't get it. You have to wait for that. And I remember going, like my head just blew off my shoulders. I was like, okay, if one family gets it, all families have to get it. That's fair. Either you give it to everyone or you don't give it to anyone, because that's not fair for certain families. And anytime I heard any news, I just talk about it, tweet about it, just everything, going, you can get it now. You can get it now. It's in our postcode. Go out, get it.
Yeah. I've always been really lucky where I live. I'm the Count Durham and Darlington Foundation Trust, and I think it's not just my postcode. It's my consultant. Like, my consultant is literally.
It's gold if you have a good consultant.
It is so vitally important that you have a great relationship with your consultant. Shafi is just amazing, and I've spoke about him many times on Prick Me Up, because I love him. I love him to pieces. He tried to, last time I was there, which was obviously before COVID, it was quite a while ago now, he tried to shake my hand when I left, and I went, come on, Shafi, we don't shake hands, we hug. Because I honestly, I think he's amazing. But yeah, thankfully I could get the pump I wanted. I always wanted Omnipod, so I was on Omnipod. Now I'm on Omnipod Dash.
Yes.
I've just did that. And then I had Libra. It'll be 2 years ago next month since I got the Libra. I had that for a little while, and then I moved to Dexcom.
Yeah.
I just needed those alarms.
Well, it's just a lot more accurate, isn't it? More than anything else. It's just,
in my opinion, and I needed to hear the bells. Like, I need waking up in the middle of the night. But yeah, I've always been really lucky, but it really frustrates me when people get in touch with me and they're like, so you've got Dexcom, did you get that on the NHS? And I'm like, yeah, where are you based? And they tell me where they're based, and then I check with Dexcom, and they're like, yeah, unfortunately their trust isn't allowing it.
I know, see, this is the big fight that I have. This is what frustrates me, and this is what I'm fighting for, because I just think it should be equal for every single person. You know how much easier it's made our lives to be able to see his number without bothering him? Because the thing is, he's got this sort of smartwatch. So the smartwatch connects to his phone, so he can exactly, and it comes up on mine as well, because I follow him with the Dexcom Share app, so he's right now 6.7 in level.
I've just looked at my watch to check my blood sugar. I'm 9.2 apparently at the moment.
See,
but my graph's on there. It's just I only got that a couple of weeks ago, and it's literally the best thing I ever did, getting that.
Yeah, it changes your life.
On it constantly now.
Yeah.
Like, oh
yeah,
no,
just
no.
look at that. Look at that. And the more you can have access to that kind of technology, the more you can keep on top of it, which then relieves the pressure of the NHS. My whole point is make the people, kind of enable them to look after themselves, so they don't have to keep going to the consultants and the doctors and bothering them. So it doesn't make sense to give you equipment that's not as good as it could be, because then it creates more problems long-term health-wise. So it's better to do this. But I mean, honestly, there's been people I've met who changed the way, because when he was first diagnosed, I if I'm really honest with you, Jade, when he first got diagnosed, I wanted to run from that hospital, jump in a car, and just drive to the furthest end of England that I could. I felt so guilty. I felt like I'd done something to him, and it was a feeling I've never experienced. And I genuinely, I was in a very dark place, a very low place. But what helped me was initially the consultant. We had a new consultant there, and he said something to me that really, really hit home. And what that was, look, he said, of all the long-term autoimmune illnesses that are out there, he goes, this is the one people pray for because it's manageable. So if he says, if he goes, just, you're so lucky that it's manageable. So he says, yeah, it's going to be, even like he literally went, it's going to be shit, it's going to be crap, it's going to be this, it's going to be that. He goes, but you'll be okay. He said, there are a lot worse things out there. So that's the only thing that's sort of kept me going. That and the fact that, like I said, I am determined to make sure that the next step of treatment is more available to everybody, and that we keep working towards a cure, because it is out there.
I think I said the other week, like, my push for this year now is going to be trying to get them to officially loop.
Yes, that's going to happen soon enough. I think everyone needs to do that. Yeah.
It must be almost ready. It must be almost ready.
I think it is in the States. This is the thing that frustrates me. I think the States are a bit further ahead than we are, and it's frustrating. So
I've got a question that's come through. I saw on my watch before, and I've got loads of questions going on here. And Sean keeps sending me questions, but I've realised if I look at them, it pauses my Facebook video. So I can see here. I've got a question that came from a friend of mine, and she messaged me and said, could I ask, does Aidan know what it would have been like 100 years ago if he was diagnosed? Does he realise?
Yes, actually, he came across it because he was doing something in biology at school, and I remember him coming to me and going, Mum, come see this, see this. So they were studying the digestive system and the pancreas, and he happened to be Googling or looking up some information, and he showed me what the very first artificial pump looked like that was outside the body. And it was a massive rucksack on this poor kid's back, sitting in a class with this really sad face. And I said, wow, Aidan, God, are we not blessed that it's happened in this lifetime, that there's the kind of technology that it's just like stuck to your arm, or it's stuck to your stomach or your leg or something, and you don't have to carry around a backpack. Because one of his most frustrating things was, when you first get diagnosed, they say to you, you must carry this with you and that with you and everything. And, and they're like, oh, just get a fanny pack. And I'm like, he's not going to wear a fanny pack. We need to get him something a bit cooler than that to walk around with. A 13-year-old boy with that is not good. So now he's seen like these boys walking around with those little Nike packs, and they just have them slung over their shoulders. And so if he goes out, he does that. But at first, that's the thing that bothered him more than anything at first. The thing that bothered him was, why do I have to feel different? I don't want to be different to all my friends. And I get that. I feel that.
That completely depends on personality, because I loved being different, but then I'm an actress, and that I've got an outgoing personality, and I quite liked the fact that I was different. But So I can see that Amanda's asking me where I wear my Omnipod. It's on my leg right now, Amanda. I'll try and show you. It's just on my leg there. I do wear it mainly on my leg. I wear it mainly on my leg, but I sometimes wear it on my arm or my tummy as well. I've only started moving around more often, and to be fair, the last few days last few weeks, sorry, I've started doing legs more again. And Carrie Hilton, I'm being naughty now. We Dewsbury Young Diabetics. Shout out to Dewsbury Young Diabetics. Hello.
Hello.
Bought some of Jade's books to give to our families who are newly diagnosed. Oh, Daisy Donald. They bought some Daisy Donald. But we need your book for the boys. How can I contact you? Oh, how can you contact me? And you can just get. Do you mean my book, or do you have a book, Nina?
I do. Yes, it's a little book called Bionic T1D, and it's about about this little kid who gets diagnosed with this, but it just makes him bionic because that's what his friends called him at school. They called Aiden bionic because they're like, "What's all this stuck to you?" Like all this equipment.
People get hold of that then.
So, it's on Amazon. You can just buy, wherever. Yeah, it's you can just buy it. And it's a little bit. It's perfect for Key Stage 2 readers. So, and I've had such lovely feedback from other parents who have kids with this. And there's one kid apparently who will not go to bed without reading it.
Well, that's good because mine's kind of aimed at Key Stage 1.
Okay, perfect. I'll pick it up from there.
So what you all need to go and do, guys, is you need to buy a Daisy Donald on X, on Pricks Official, and then head to Amazon and get what is it, Bionic T1D?
Bionic T1D. Because Aiden, when he was first diagnosed, refused to tell people he had type 1 diabetes. He'd just go, I got T1D. I was like, okay, fine.
I came across T1D in the last couple of years since I started doing Pricks. I didn't realise that was a hashtag or anything.
Yeah, it is.
It's funny, there's so many little things like that in the type 1 community, like little things, and I have to go, what does that mean? MDI. Yeah, just to realise MDI was multiple daily injections. That took me yonks to work out. I didn't know it before. I didn't need to know it. No. What was interesting before, someone had commented on the side about meeting, and I think I read it out, about meeting other parents and then just getting it. I, as type 1, didn't have any friends that were type 1. And so for me, I went and did the Daphne course, and that was the first time I spent a long time with other people that were type 1. And that for me was just a week of therapy. It was like people being in a room with 4 other people that just got it. They just absolutely understood everything, feeling, and it was brilliant. Honestly, I learned a lot on it, obviously, as well. But the best thing about it was meeting the others. And the best thing about touring Pricks is meeting so many other people, so many parents, people just completely understand it. It's just, it's so nice. Amanda would like to know, Nina, is any of your family diabetic? Mum, love that, she's from Borough. Mum, dad, brother or sister? Anyone else diabetic?
No one. We it's not part of our family makeup at all. It is now, but it wasn't at the time because we knew nothing of it. So it's just it's really come out of nowhere. It's sideswiped us, But I think there's a reason for it. I think it's because I genuinely believe I can do something about this. And in my bones, I believe that we are going to make things good with this. We're going to get rid of this.
Right. So I've just got a few on Facebook as well that I've missed. Our son was 5 when he was diagnosed last April. We noticed a few signs only because his best friend was diagnosed 2 years earlier. So that's the only reason why they knew. Who's that? Richard. They have been best friends since the age of 2.
Right.
And 4 years on, still best friends. So lucky to have it.
Oh, that's so nice.
We've got loads of people watching. Samantha Bloom-Brown, she says she agrees about the Daphne experience. It was the first time she'd met other type 1s as well. And David was totally agreeing with us about the postcode lottery, David Bell. He was saying it's really frustrating to see the push to get it available across. Oh yeah, it must be really frustrating that we have to push to get it. But at the same time, at least people are doing that. And still people saying they're denied. Someone messaged me the other day, and on Instagram, I think it was, and said that she had been turned down again for the Libra. And I said, right, message Parker Carr at NHS Sugar Doc on here. She said, oh yeah, I follow him. I said, just message him. And he's done it before. He'll probably, if you tell him which trust it is, he'll get in touch with them. He'll just drop an email over to them or a tweet or whatever.
Yeah.
And it happens because they shouldn't be being denied.
They shouldn't be. And he's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant.
He's superb. Like he is superb. I mean, I know it's Parker. Parker loves the camera and he loves all that. But
he's hilarious. I absolutely like. He's a showman. He's an absolute showman.
Yeah, and he likes to drink like me. So I think the three of us would get on very well together. Agree, Nina. Input, now part of JDF. Used to list pump-friendly JDF. Or Input, now part of JDF. Used to list pump-friendly clinics, but shouldn't clinics all be pump-friendly? Yeah, I agree.
I agree entirely. Like I said, it's got to be fair across the board. Parity, that's the only way forward.
And David's just said he was lucky to get his Libre 2 years ago and saved up for the is it meow meow? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, it's like I'd heard of that thing as well.
He's just added to his watch this week and wish he'd had it sooner. I just think, see, Dexcom, I know that Dexcom desperately want to get all the trusts to
and they absolutely should. It changes your life. It just does.
Yeah.
But then, mind you, I've also met sort of people who've had diabetes for a very, very long time who are scared of technology, which I find really interesting because, I guess each person has to deal with it in the way that they feel most comfortable with. I think with the younger ones, if you update the technology constantly, they feel good about themselves, Yeah.
So. Yeah. No, I think that's completely right, and I think every type 1 is totally different.
Like, entirely. Yeah.
No two type 1s are the same.
No.
And no, there is no handbook which will give you all the tricks and there's nothing, because everyone is so different. Like, and it's all trial and error.
It is.
And so I didn't want to pump this, like 15 years it took them to persuade. And when they originally want me to get a pump, they weren't like they are now, because I was 15, 16 at the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, eventually it dawned on me after doing Daphne that every time I eat is a lot, like, because I snack all the time. And so I was doing like 10, 12 injections a day, maybe more some days if I was having one of those hungry days, because I love a bag of crisps.
Yeah.
I love a little bit of chocolate.
Yeah.
and because when I eat carbs, my blood sugar, I can just have 5 grams of carbs and my blood sugar, I will see the increase. So I have to have insulin for that tiny amount of carbs, whereas some people don't. Some people can go up to 10 grams before they start having to have insulin. If I ate 2 grams of carbs, I tell you, well, I'd see it in my blood sugar, definitely.
Wow.
It's crazy. So Amanda said she's had it 38 years and would never go back to 1982 with the glass syringes. And I was lucky enough to have plastic syringes, but we did have
syringes. Oh my word.
And I think Amanda was on last week and she was telling us how they used to have to I think disinfect them somehow. I think they had to put them in boiling water. And
that would take so long just to eat something.
I know. But back then, I would imagine Amanda would be like I was, and you didn't inject when you ate. You just did two injections a day. I did, and it was mixed, long acting and fast acting in the injection.
Yeah.
And so, it was a bit different back then. But I was lucky enough to have plastic syringes where you had to flick the air bubbles out the top, and when you drew the insulin in it. But much more thankful. Soon when insulin pens came around, and I think it was around a while before they offered them to me. But when they came around, that was like, oh my God, this is brilliant. And then now there's pumps, and now there's so many.
I know, that's what I'm thinking, and it's going to get smaller and smaller. I think it's going to be a pill soon that you take a pill first thing in the morning and you're fine for the day. I mean, I'd be happy with that for him.
Yeah. Amanda said that her little boy used to get called Biscuit Boy. Not bionic T1D like Aidan.
Biscuit boy, yeah.
Like I used to, I always had to have a biscuit at I think it was 10 a.m. and about 2 p.m. I
Yeah,
always had to have 10 grams of carbs. It was biscuit because back then you would feed the insulin,
yeah.
rather than having the right insulin for what you'd eating, kind of thing. So yeah, I could get biscuit boy. I understand that. So loads of questions coming through, but tell me about what part you played, and whether was it a big role, was it a cameo role in 2.4 Children, because I used
Oh
to
my
love
God. It was,
2.4
you know, that was
Children.
my first ever TV appearance. And it was
Was
with,
it?
yeah, it was with a friend of mine as well, who was still a friend of mine, Kim Benson, Perry Benson's sister, lovely actress. And we both played supermarket counter girls. And my first scene was dispensing the correct amount of olives. And I was more obsessed with getting the weight of the olives right than doing my lines. And I remember the director going, you know, no one cares about what you're actually doing. We're just waiting for the lines to come in. And I was trying to be a perfectionist at that point. But that was my first ever television job, was playing a supermarket counter girl. And I loved it. I was so nervous as well, though, but I loved it.
What is your most favorite TV job that you've had?
Oh, that's a tough one. There's been so many. I mean, I used to love a sitcom I was in called Perfect World, and it
Right.
was with Paul Kay. And he played this really nasty boss of mine who worked, you know, in the city. And this is just after his Dennis Pennis days. And I played his kind of really weary assistant called Maggie Stone, and he'd make fun of my weight throughout the whole series. That was the whole thing about the character, was that he would just be like, he would constantly tease Maggie, and she would always get her way back at some point with him, you know. And I loved that series. We did 2 series of it, and then they took us off because it was set in an office, and The Office was coming in. And I remember being so upset, thinking, but it's such a funny series. Why would you do this? So I loved that. I loved Goodness Gracious Me. I certainly love Zainab in EastEnders. I think, oh my gosh, someone told me they're actually showing the big sort of Masood wedding stuff that we did in a couple of weeks on screen, because they've run out of EastEnders episodes. So I think they're showing it on the 7th of July. So I can't wait. I haven't seen it in so long. I'm desperate to see what the character was like. I've forgotten her entirely. So it'd
That'll
be
be
quite fun.
amazing. That'll be amazing to watch back. Yeah, because was it 2013? Did you leave EastEnders?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's probably around the time I kind of stopped watching EastEnders, to be honest. I used to always watch it. So
A lot of people have said that they just, I mean, personally for me, I just had, when did I have AIDS? No, Aiden was born 2007. I'd gone into EastEnders just after giving birth to him. And it was really tough for me because I kind of was missing out on him growing up, you know, and it was bothering me. Because EastEnders, you can have lots of time off when it's not your scenes, but then when you're in, and sometimes from Monday to Saturday and for several hours a day. And I hated that I had to put him with a childminder for so long. And, you know, so I felt like I was missing out, and I just wanted to be with him a bit more. So I'd got to that point where I thought, you know what, I should just do that. I should spend more time with him, and then I should freshen up, go back into comedy for a bit. And then Still Open All Hours came along. And I remember sort of going, you know, they were going, oh, there's this little character. Would you come in and play her? I said, well, who's it with? And they went, David Jason. And I went, well, why are you asking me? Of course I'm going to play do it. It's like, it's a no-brainer. And I love that quirky little weird character from Doncaster. I was like, and I remember going, the hell is a Doncaster accent? I've never heard this. So I went up to Doncaster and thought, oh my goodness, this is a hard accent. I can't do it.
It is a hard accent, yeah.
Really hard accent.
You know what? I really admire you for like doing it, because I shouldn't say this, but I say it all the time. As an actress, I'm terrible at accents.
Oh no, I'm sure you're not.
Like there's some that I can do.
Yeah.
I wish I could pick them up easier than I do.
Yeah.
I just I'm not good at picking them up. That's just the honest truth. So you did all that, but you also played Dev Patel's mum
Yes, in Skins.
And
Oh
I
my
used to
gosh.
watch Skins.
Do you know, it's really weird. So I've played Dev's mum, and then he's gone off to America and done really well. And I've played Himesh's mum. He played Tamwar in EastEnders. He's gone off and done really well. He made that lovely big movie yesterday. And
Maybe what will happen now, Nina, is that I'll go off and do really well.
yes, you will. I hope I
I
spread good luck around the world because you deserve it.
I'd love that. Yeah, no. But yeah, how crazy is it that like
I know.
career now?
I know, it's great. See, that's the thing about this profession. It's just so there's a lot of luck involved. And I always say to young actors, because I'll tell you what I do get a lot of is very cheeky kind of who is it, Hamza and Isla. They're both sort of YouTube kind of big comedy stars, and they wrote to me and they said, "Look, we've got no money, but will you be in our series because we love your work?" And I always just say, "Let me just look at the script. If I like the script, I'll just do it for you." And
Yeah,
so they're so naughty, and they'll send me this stuff, and then Hamza's got his own series now, and Isla's made a movie, and I'm like, what is it? Who do I go to that can make me do that? I'd love it.
I did watch I watched your episode of Isolation Stories as well.
Oh,
It was
that was some, yeah.
That was with Sheridan Smith.
Sheridan. Oh, Sheridan's lovely. And the thing is, when that came through, I remember thinking, oh gosh, it was earlier on in the lockdown. And they said, look, we're just going to send through some equipment for you. You set it up and then we'll record you. And what would have taken in a TV studio an hour and a half at the most took all of us about 8 hours to do. And honestly, I thought, if this is the way that television is headed, I don't want to act anymore because it was painful. Just you'd get your stuff right, and then the sound man would go, "No, that didn't sound good from your end. Try it again." And you'd be thinking, "Well, I don't know what else to do." And then you get more and more frustrated, and it was really hard.
I totally understand that. Well, there's a message here actually quickly, but Jenny sent a message saying, "Did I just hear your sensor expire?" Jenny, don't worry, my Dexcom. Apparently I've run out of space on my phone and it's not saving my stuff. But I'm going to fix it as soon as I end this. So don't worry, Jenny. There. And she shouted to her son Oliver to change his sensor, but it wasn't his. It was mine. It was mine. Don't worry. Daniel says, Doncaster, my mum and dad used to go watch the filming of the original Open All Hours.
Oh, do you know, we met so many people who would line up on the corner of the shop, because they still use the original shop, which is now a salon, but they clear it out to actually do my stand's falling down on me. Bear with me 1 second. There we go. So I when we get there, people literally queue along that edge, and then they kind of wait for you to jump out from your van. And they go, "Can I have your autograph, please?" And they're all people who then they'll tell you stories about, "I remember meeting Ronnie Barker, and wasn't he wonderful?" and this and that. I mean, I love that show. We have so much fun. We laugh so much filming that, and I did get to work with legends like Stephanie Cole and Bridget Forsyth, and just some absolute legendary female actresses, as well as David. So it's amazing.
No, there's my sensor beeping again.
Do you know what we should do? We should write our own little film. I think we should make a Type 1 film. What do you reckon, Jay?
I totally want to do that. I've been badgering James Norton for a while, but can't seem to get in touch with him about doing something. So maybe me and you should do it, and then
let's just do it. Let's just do it.
Brilliant.
I think that'd be amazing. Let's get together and get a script in.
He'll be gutted that he wasn't involved then.
Yeah, then he'll learn.
It to a close because I don't like to encroach upon the GB Doc tweet chat hour, which starts at 9. And next week, actually, I'm the host on that.
Amazing.
I need to think about my questions for next week, actually. So so I don't want to encroach on that. So what I want to say is a massive, massive thank you for joining me.
No worries.
Thanks for being with me tonight. Thanks for sharing your acting stories, because I love hearing about other actors and their careers. You have had an amazing career though, Nina. Like,
oh, thank you. To be honest, I'm just happy to be a jobbing actor, Jade. If I can do that till the day I cop it, I'm happy. It's just I like the middle ground where I'm just working. I love that.
We've got a few comments saying, "Can I be in it? Can I be an extra?" Yeah.
Yes, done. Everyone who is part of the diabetes community can come in and do a turn. How amazing would that be? Right, Jade, I'm leaving it to you to
said it live.
Yeah.
Right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. If you don't already, follow Nina you're on Twitter and you're on Instagram.
I'm on Twitter and I'm on Instagram. I really need some Instagram followers, please, if you all don't mind.
So do I. So if you're going to follow Nina and you don't follow Pricks Official, you better follow me as well. Also, if you've joined us on YouTube for the first time, please do hit subscribe. I'll be back next week. I think I know who my guest next week is, but I'll announce in the next couple of days. But thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining us. But thank you, Nina. Really, thank you.
No worries. All the very best.